Hey everybody, welcome back. It is the Fantasy Rugby. My name is Jared Dyke.
I'm Ben Glauser.
Welcome in.
Right that time.
Yeah, hey, yeah, you did. Yeah, if I sound like I'm underwater or something, I'm under the weather as well. So, oops. What are you gonna do? It's that time of year.
Right, and I just got vaccinated earlier today. So we'll see. This will be a very interesting. This could, the longer we get into our beer,
The booster gets worse. I saw what I've been told.
Yeah.
So
we'll see how that goes.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, you might be okay today, but you might hate yourself tomorrow. Just saying.
As if I don't hate myself today.
Put it out there and all that stuff. All right, I'm abstaining. Because I'm gonna, not be super stupid because I need to try and go to work tomorrow. I haven't done any work this week, so I'm gonna drink this seltzer and be happy.
Well, I got my beer. So,
but please, Ben will drink for both of us.
This is gonna get bad.
Please do. Please do make sure that you find us on your favorite podcast apps. Download, rate, review, all that good stuff. Love the feedback, positive, negative, so on and so forth. We do appreciate everybody that sends us the kind words. Just the same. Buy our friend George, the Fantasy Rugby Geek, a coffee. He's worth it, especially if you did well last week. I guess I should
like who? Yeah, exactly. What are you, top 8?
Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. I'll look in a second. But if you did well this past week in Super Brew for Champions Cup, he is a big reason why I can guarantee it. So hit him up, buy George a coffee. TRM is back next week, so make sure you get your upgrades before that comes back. It does support Restart Rugby as well, which is a huge thing for the RPA. We got to support players in their afterlife and their off season, and it's been there's a whole lot going on with after rugby stuff for some of these players that isn't in a good way, so we need to turn that around as fast as possible. No fun for that,
right?
And
speaking of which, always, did you see I'm sorry I'm cutting into this topic, but you see that there's a woman players alliance now, WPA.
I did.
Started by the fantastic Polly Barnes, among many others.
I knew I liked
her. So that's excellent. It's kind of a shame that they need two different associations. They can't all just have the same one, but as long as there's voices coming from players, that's really what matters.
Well, I mean, the RPA itself doesn't have a ton of legs to stand on at the moment, so So it was dealing mostly with Premiership players, as far as I know, as well. So that being
you're doing the scope they have. So I'm sure at some point, if as both groups really get large and mature, I'm sure we'll see some sort of merger or partnership.
Yep, I don't doubt that. As always, Black Lives Matter on this podcast, and there is no room for racism. And there's no room for racism up in Glasgow, apparently, at least not in their stadium for those silly faux Native American headdresses. So I'm glad they were another club that took the stand and said, "Don't bring them, idiots."
Right.
And don't do the chant, you jerks.
And there's still people that play dumb about it. Like, well, I don't understand why this is a problem. They just want to honor the heritage. Shut the fuck. It's not their heritage, first off. And
no,
it's fucking silly. And they're like so disingenuous about the whole thing. So those threads are always good for the block list. Like, I never need to see you again.
Who said that on there? Somebody put that out there. Like, just follow the comments and let the block button go to work. I don't remember what it was, but that was a good one. I like that. I was like, yep, I agree with that one.
It sounds like a Reese-Knot kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe that might be that. But either way, good tweet there. Shit, that was too funny. And all the different minorities is not just about black, but it's about about women. It's about Latinos. The Irish women have gone to the Irish government saying, "Shit is fucked up. Can you help us? That's bad."
And it's even worse when the government's like, "Well, this seems like something we should look into," because the IRFU put something out too that was like, "We do our best, kinda."
No, you don't.
And it was like it was such full of shit. And like the government people, whoever they responded to, were like, or whoever they asked, was like, "You know what? We should look into this. We'll be calling like XYZ, like all these people associated with the IRFU, and if we we may also ask the players to come in to say something." Like, so Yeah,
Yep. That's exactly what it
that's
was.
excellent. That's like, so I hope they get better service than the U.S. women's gymnastics have gotten from their
Yeah.
petitioning of the government,
Jesus.
which has gone absolutely nowhere. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that Ireland will do a better job of this shit than, because their government actually cares about the people.
Yeah. At least from what we can tell.
Yeah, from what we can tell, certainly more than ours does.
Yeah. At this point, I have no doubt about that. Thank you to all our patrons. Obviously, our newest patron Mark. We have a Patreon. If you've been under a rock for the last few weeks, we have a Patreon. You can find it in the show notes. You can find it pinned to the top of my Twitter feed as well as Ben's. So go there and do that. If you're especially if you want to ask somebody like Duncan or Mark how they're doing in their TRM game.
They're doing okay.
So especially the last couple weeks.
It is helpful information that, we're not trying to, it's obviously not an arm and a leg either. It's like a beer a month, and it's, it gives you that much more insight into the Premiership fantasy game on TRM than you would find elsewhere.
We like to think so, at least. All right.
Someone else is stealing my shit.
A little bit more, little bit of news cycle before we get to. We can't do too much because we got a lot of matches to cover. Props on the move. Genge out of Leicester, Cock out of Ceres. Cock already has a landing spot. Genge supposedly does, but nothing confirmed. So Cock over to Wasp, which is kind of a strange one for me. If you're gonna spend money,
it is a strange one. They don't need.
I don't know if they needed that.
Yeah, I love Cockers. Obviously, I'm not.
Oh yeah.
Nothing against the guy. Great, amazing player. As a tight head, though, like they have JTA. Like this is not it's a significant upgrade, but it's not like a team-changing significant upgrade that, say, having a center might mean.
I know, right? Jeez, I mean, they do have some that are just all on the shelf, which speaks to probably another issue in there, but that's different, I guess.
But if they had like a power center, they don't really have. They have a lot of like finesse type centers, but nobody who's really going to be a hard charging threat. They're all going to try to beat you on the outside or with some guile, not so much bringing the physicality and really setting the edge for the defense. That would be, unless they, move JTA to the center. He can play 12. He can move, he can scoot
for 40 minutes, maybe. Maybe. But Genge out of Leicester was obviously the big one that dropped today. And that's like bug your eyes out, like, whoa, what is going on?
He was just appointed captain. Like, that's that of Leicester. Like, this is a big honor.
I'm surprised.
I'm certain that he's not doing this lightly.
No, not likely.
My sources indicate that it's he really holds a grudge against Andre Pollard and doesn't want to play with him. Those are my sources. I won't disclose them because they're in my head. But no, it doesn't. I can't. Yeah, I can't figure out why he would want to do this unless there's a really good reason. But
hopefully he does.
Yeah. But at the same time, if the rumor is Bristol, right?
That is the rumor, yes.
Him and Sinclair on the same team would be.
I don't know what they're gonna like. Where's Bristol's budget at this point?
Like, yeah, I don't know. They got a bunch of
they have Rad. They have Sinclair. They have Charles Piatal. Piatal's probably leaving soon, so that would be my guess. I got questions.
We'll
see.
Sheedy, I mean, is Sheedy going to get called back to Wales?
I would assume his next deal is going to require him to go to Wales because he's not going to have those required caps to sign wherever he wants on his next deal. So I would assume that's where it goes. Okay, we'll see. I mean, which is obviously why they I think they're preparing for that. Which is why AJ's there now. So and they'll have to find somebody younger because AJ ain't getting any younger anytime soon.
That's true. I just forgot about. Oh man. Okay, let's go on to the next a really big signing. I think.
Well, we have two bit of coaching moves. One is for the immediate, one is for the near future. For the immediate, Bath have signed a defense coach, which is something they said they were going to do. So that's good.
Right.
Step in the right direction.
Right. Certainly adding more to that coaching staff because they need it. They need help there. And so this, how that, I think as we saw this weekend, defense may be a thing that they might need to address.
I mean, they played a really good team too, so that didn't help them at all.
No, it didn't. Yeah. Semi exaggeration there, but at the same time, it couldn't hurt.
No. It won't hurt at all. And then for the following year, Johan van Graan from Munster is going to jump ship and come across the channel there and join up with Bath. That'll be quite an upgrade, I'd say. I mean, no disrespect to Stuart Hooper. I'd say this guy's got a little bit more punch than he does, unfortunately, for his sake.
Right. And they need someone who's going to get more with what they've got. So, and this guy, can't say he doesn't get the most out of his players.
Yeah, evidence from this past weekend.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Hooper's going to stay on staff somehow. I don't remember what the exact role was, but so they are going to keep him. They value him. This isn't his role. And that's just where it's at.
Yeah. No, and then it could be a not yet. There's plenty of. I mean, how many times have we seen in sport a coach just absolutely not have it their first appointment, and then although in some ways you still see glimpses, like Terry Francona was butt at the Phillies, absolute ass. He had some good things going for him, but like the things that ended up kind of killing him at the Red Sox after so many years, obviously, and so much success, but like still like that, those became clear much earlier and they were much more problematic. He was able to kind of keep them on the shelf for longer with the Red Sox until he managed for just enough years there where it's like, okay, time to move on.
Sometimes that happens.
Which it happens. But like still he sucks and then he's good because he had to learn something. Yeah. And he even said it was like a mulligan. Like, yeah, I screwed that up. And Philly fans are like, what the fuck? That's bullshit. Like you're just your practice girl. Yes, you were.
Yes, you were.
Bill Belichick too with the Browns, although he got them to the playoffs, but
true.
But still, he showed that he had something. But obviously his second team worked out a lot better.
I would have judged to say yes.
So I'm not saying that Stuart Hooper is in those two categories. He's like them, but correct. What I'm saying is there's nothing to say he can't be just based on this, but it's just not right now.
No,
like, learn a little bit more. Coaching is more. It's so much more than just knowing the game and
absolutely
and helping lead men.
Yeah,
or women.
Yeah, there's a little bit more nuance to it.
Right.
All right, let's jump into the pools because we had quite a bit of rugby. Even with one match bagged, we still had a lot of rugby to cover. Some good, some less.
A lot of close matches too. So even if it was kind of a poopy match, it was worth watching. And even the good ones were like, or even the highest, the like the first one we're going to get to was worth watching, but damn, was it not even?
No,
it wasn't close.
Yeah, Franklin's Gardens. Wow. Northampton 14, Racing 45, and the Finn Russell show was on.
It certainly was. Although Saints kind of gave a lot away. And I'm not saying that as a Prem homer here because Racing fucking had him, but Saints played a really poor game considering the lineup they put out. They were, we saw some Prem lineups that went kind of light and overperformed, and I think the Saints went full bore and way underperformed.
Yep.
So you can't do that against a team like Racing because every time they made a mistake, it's boop, in your try zone.
Oh, totally. I mean, I loved the first Emov try. I was like, that is his line. He loves that line, and you got to watch it because you got a bunch of chunkers that are sitting around the forwards are usually the ones sitting around the rock right there. So, and he knows it, so he's going to pick on them.
Right.
And he did, and it worked. So that's what he does.
Bastard.
Yeah, he does that quite. He did that quite well.
Yeah.
Did not have a Lorray hat trick on my score sheet here, but holy shit, he was in the right place at the right time. So
he was okay. Yeah,
yeah.
he was all kinds of okay. And then again, going back to Saints, Sam Matavesi was if you've listened to the pod, you know that we love Sam Matavesi. He was brutal.
He was butt. Like he was not good.
Yeah,
he was not good. Not good, my friend. Not good.
Like, yeah, you see something bad happen, and you're like, "Oh, I wonder who that was." And then you see two walking away. You're like, "Oh, okay." Damn it! I should have known.
It was your day, buddy.
Right.
And I mean that in the worst way.
Yeah. Just a terrible call though, just allowing that Ludlam try.
Oh,
he was through. There was no one. I got in the way of the prop who had no angle and certainly no speed.
Right.
No.
And then Machino, who's selling it, Machino had all the opportunity to come off Slateholm and to make that tackle. Like that's the bad.
Oh, that
thing.
one.
Like,
yeah.
It was not even.
Oh, that was that one. Right. What the fuck was I thinking of? Never mind. I was thinking of a different try. Yeah. No, that one. Yes. Oh yeah, there was absolutely no.
No. And was he in front? Yes, but he was running, he knew what he was doing. He was just like, all right, I need to get the hell out of the way and run the other way.
Right.
And to award something like what Machino was doing, which was overselling it, it just encourages that. It just encourages that. It was a very soccer move
too, because he hadn't even run into Slightholm and he was throwing his arms up. Yeah, it's like he was obviously trying to sell it, and how can you just be like, oh, that's what happened? It's like
I said, the guy has no common sense. I'm way over Mike Adamson. They're pushing him to way too high of a limit, and there's a couple referees that are doing that too. You contrast him, you contrast him with contrast him with with Matt Carley, and I can't stand Matt Carley. He's a complete prick on the field, but you know where you stand with Matt Carley, and he is fucking firm. He's a dickhead about it. So is Tempest, but he's worse because he doesn't always get it right. Right. Carley usually does. Adamson is just like, I swear to God, you probably could talk him into giving a yellow card to someone, and if it really came down to it, which is not a good thing, No. So you could to be as convinced as he was, you have to look at it and say, all right, here's the law, and here's what happened, and common sense needs to prevail. Like, come on, man.
Right. He was not. Slightholm was not in between Ludlam and the defender. He wasn't. He was in front of him, and there was contact, but that's not enough.
Machino initiated the contact,
right?
And usually that's enough to say, yeah, you made that decision, stupid. That's your fault.
And Slightholm was running away from him. Like, how can you be running away from a player and be a shepherd? No, it doesn't.
No. So, not to mention every other person in the Racing backline probably had a shot at Ludlam anyway. So shame on them for not getting him.
Freeman, hopefully Freeman's not too hurt.
God, I know
that would suck.
I didn't see any report on him yet.
No.
Yeah, and over to the Racing lineup, just Finn Russell, absolutely amazing. Oh my God, you can't say enough about him. You really can't.
No, it's like he had the ball on the string. It did what he wanted it to do. It didn't always work out every single time, but that's how you do it. It's volume.
That's what you want with him.
Right. That's like his version of, he just does things different. Like, people think just because he does things differently, it's weird or somehow wrong. And it's like, no, it's just different. It's not, he'll do a kick pass instead of try to go through the hands. Like, it has its pluses and minuses. So get the ball out quicker. So when it works really fucking well. Yep. And the chips up the field too. Like, he will find that little gap in your defense, whether that's with the pass or with the boot. And he's really good at both.
Yeah, he manages both pretty well. All right, let's go to Saturday up to Arms Park in Cardiff, and it was a spirited team for Cardiff, and I give them full credit for coming out and putting in a pretty damn good shift, all things considered, against the defending European champions. But in the end, I mean, they were always going to have too much, and that's just how it is. But yeah, loads of credit. I mean, they got the try to take the lead, but really that's where it ended, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, they had some really good performances. I mean, I've decided that I really like Ellis Jenkins. Now, I realize that's not a popular opinion, and it's extremely brave of me to take that stance, but I'm going to stand up for Ellis Jenkins as a good rugby player.
Yeah.
And even like they just got good performances, but yeah, you're right. It's Toulouse were just on another level. I mean, Anton Dupont is so good at rugby that they should give him some sort of like award for being good at rugby.
I think they're working on that.
I think they may have already done it. So
something to that effect.
But he certainly proved that he deserved it because
he's kind of good.
I saw somebody put up a Photoshop of Dupont and Finn in Barbarians colors, and it was like, please make this happen. And I'm like,
yes, could be fun.
Yes, please. That would be amazing. Never would, but not for a while anyway.
Not for a bit. Not for a wee bit. And I don't know who was the poor sap that Peter Aki sat down, but I was just like, oh, he just did a dick thing to you.
I don't remember who that was.
But... Oh man, poor sucker. I was like, oh boy. He just decided he could have easily just like made a mess too, and instead he decided to go and full truck stick and run him over. I was like, oh, that's a dick thing to do. Shit. Well, but the defending champs got off to a flyer, and the other guy that they have that's really good, Intimac, also pretty good on the day. So
he's okay.
Yeah, I again, full credit to the Cardiff team that rocked up, but was just never going to be enough, unfortunately. Slightly tighter match over in Bordeaux. Leicester and Bordeaux. Bordeaux 13, Leicester 16. And it was not the prettiest of matches, but again, because of the closeness of the score, it made it very interesting at the very least.
Super entertaining, and it's a game that it's a statement game for Leicester, showing backing themselves from their Prem mastery this year, and saying, you know what, no, we're gonna go win an away match in the Champions Cup. For me, aside from the way they played, the only memorable thing from this was Harry Potter's disappearing.
Oh my god, I was like, oh no, does he know that there's nothing? Oh no, yep, there he goes. Oh man, I was
like, it's really funny now because we know he didn't get hurt. He could have been seriously injured.
He could have done an ankle, his knee, he could have slipped and fell and hit his head.
Right.
So many bad things that could happen. Thank God he was fine.
Right. Concrete with cleats on is not a good time.
It's a bad ending usually.
And he was dropping probably about 10 feet from the height of his jump to the bottom.
Right.
Long fall there.
And he definitely wasn't ready for as far down as it was.
No.
He's like, oh, I made a terrible error here.
And the gif of him, or the video from him doing it, when you see the crowd, and there's the one guy who like his face just goes, oh no. Like, as soon as he leaves the ground and the guy sees what is happening before Potter does, he's just like, uh-oh.
Yeah. That guy, no. That face should have been everything to tell Harry Potter what was about to happen too. It's like, I've made a terrible mistake, have I not? Yes, you have. See you, buddy. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it was not the prettiest of rugby, but their try was well worked. I will give them that. The Porter try. Yeah, I mean, Porter's just in the right place at the right time, but it was a well worked move to get him over. But it was a scrappy old game. But this is what you have to do in Europe, and when you're away from home, you have to scrap and scrape and win the ugly ones. So loads of credit to the Tigers and getting it done,
especially
against.
away. And but they also got their it wasn't their first score; it was their second score. Like that's you have to get, and it's going to be a running thing throughout this, especially as the visiting team.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not your first score, your second score has to be a try.
Mm-hmm.
Like you cannot just kick for points. If you kick for points twice in an away match, right in a row, you're probably not going to win. I should probably do some analysis on this, but the Ford kicked 3 penalties, but their second score was a try, and it was 4 minutes after their first score, and it was. Yeah, yep. I think that the first one, because they were losing 3-0 at the time anyway, it was just to tie it up, which is perfectly fine. But then their next score was that Porter try, and after that, just get in range for 40 and keep it close, and then win it.
Yeah, and they had to take advantage of the fact that there was no Jalibert in this match as well, so they had to beat these guys. Helpful. Here, right. Because in January you might see him.
Right.
So. We'll see. I don't know how long he's gonna be out for, but we'll see. You gotta be him while you can. We don't need to dwell on this one too quickly. Over in Dublin, Leinster 45, Bath 20. I mean, to nobody's shock. I mean, Bath put in a fairly spirited performance to start, but then it got away from him.
Just couldn't handle the double shot of Jameson.
Yeah, Jameson gets the park. Yep.
Yeah,
and it was just a try fest after a while.
Yeah, it was. So, and kind of similar to that, Bath came out with penalty kicks.
Mm-hmm.
So
they had a couple
against Leinster. Like they're going to be scoring tries against you. Why even bother?
Yeah,
I just don't get that. The Bath needed to be aggressive in this one. You got to know when it's time to rock up, and I think they the 2 penalty kicks early just kind of shown that you're not really interested in winning so much as doing the go playing painting by the numbers. It's like you got to know better.
Do what the book says, not necessarily what the brain says.
Right.
Oops, but it was always going to be a tough one either way.
Exactly. So it's like, why are you making it tough on yourself by not going for the gusto? Like you're not just going to win this match by accident. You got to really try for it.
Mm-hmm.
Kicking penalties early is not. You're trying to keep. That's what you do when you're actually can keep it close. That was never going to be a thing.
Nope, that was always going to be tough on them either way. Oops, daisy. Stade Marcel Michelin. Claremont didn't quite look like the team that they are in the top 14 in this one. Looked a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But that last decision by Wayne Barnes was probably the biggest one to allow the Timoni try.
Mm-hmm.
I was more than okay with allowing it, and especially when they went back and said he hadn't blown his whistle yet.
Yeah, right. Especially because whatever, even if it was a deliberate knock or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a knock, but either way, it doesn't matter.
No.
It's like that. It only matters because he gave a yellow with it too, which fucking annoyed me. That part, but it was a try. Absolutely. I was annoyed by the whole thing. It really kind of turned me off a little bit, but I can overlook it at this point. Looking back, it annoyed me at the time, but I'm strangely okay with it now.
Yeah. Well, the Ulsterman went against your formula. They had 3 straight penalties. Then they had the McCloskey try.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pinot and old friend JJ Hanrahan got in on the act. And
but they still scored a try before Claremont did.
Also that helps too.
So yeah, they like if you can do that and it works that way, then you're probably okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And they also scored had the first 4 scores of the match. So
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like kind of building a lead at that point. So that kind of pressure can turn into points. And
can.
Ulster are a pretty solid squad right now.
Yeah.
Claremont are as you said, are kind of struggling. So it's a different tactic when you're, in the end should be the favored team in a neutral site, even if you're away. The calculus changes then when you're a heavy underdog and you're away. It's different spot, different tactics.
Yeah. How good was it the second Pinot try? The touchdown, the touchdown,
right?
Just barely.
Love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they weren't sure. Was that the one they weren't sure about?
They weren't convinced of it at all at first, but it counted. I was like, that's good. That's a good one.
Right.
Give it to him.
Can look at this for a couple. Yeah, it was one of those, like, if you want to take a look at this one, yeah, I'll take a look at that one. I'll sit back. Like, there's certain tries or certain TMO decisions when you're like, just fucking end it. I don't want to see it. This one's like, okay, look, if you want to take 3 minutes to just look at this beauteous art,
right,
let's do it. I don't think they needed that, but still,
probably didn't. But
keep doing it.
Look at it. Just keep on going, guys, because this is beauty.
Right.
Thing of beauty.
Can do this all day.
Right, but this is at the same time, this is a big win for Ulster. Stepping into hostile territory in France is never fun. So coming away with a win, they got four tries, did they? They get 3. No.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Let's see.
One second.
I just had it.
Nope, only had 2, so never mind. I'll shut my face on that one.
Two. Just McCluskey and Timoney.
They have boatload of penalties. But even still, to get 4 points and get out of there was away from home is great. Never a bad thing. And they did it with some good style too. So
right. Cooney was just massive.
As he is,
hell of a match for him.
Yeah, as he is. I mean, I don't think we'll see him on the Irish team anytime soon, but Ulster will take him happily.
Is there any chance he's US eligible?
Right. Stand down for 3 years, Johnny. Come on over.
Right. And McCluskey and Hume. What a center pairing.
Yeah, great pairing there.
They're massive. So a lot of good stuff there.
The Lowry kid looked great.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I really like him. I have since he came in a few years ago. I really like him. And then over to Shandy Park, and the least surprise one of the least surprising results there.
Yeah.
Exeter a lot, Montpellier very little. 42-6.
Didn't we think Witten scored at one point? I think it was.
He almost did.
Thank
God it got called back. I was like, no, he cannot score. That fucker cannot score.
This is a match for Witten to score. This is one of those matches,
right?
Johnny Gray gets the hat.
Johnny Gray got 3. Gray got 3. So
yeah,
there's that.
Right. That kind of says it all.
I mean, the first hog try was great. He pantsed four different people, said, I'm going to watch all you idiots float by me, and I'm going to cut back this way. All that needed to happen for Montpellier is one of those guys to not do that. And they would have been fine. And they did, because they were stupid. I was like, come on. God damn. It's like, really? What are you doing? Knuckleheads. Yeah, just a whole lot of bleh from Montpellier, which is what we thought when we saw the lineup. So, no shock there, really, in the end. It's really not a whole lot to say here. Sorry. Just moving right along. Let's go to Sunday morning. We had a couple of interesting ones. Connacht came out to play up in Galway.
Sure,
my goodness. Jack Carty, wow, fantastic performance from him.
Right
at home.
Right. Also US eligible, but we'll take his brother for now.
Yeah, we got his brother for now, so we'll take it. Yeah, I mean, if Luke's any bit as good as Jack, we need to play him more often. I'm
okay with it. Well, right. It's just when AJ can't, I'm good with that.
Yeah, that'd be that. It needs to be 1 and 2 right there. Those two guys. Anyway,
Colin Blade had just a massive performance.
Yeah, he was really good. I mean, unfortunately, this is a typical away team performance from a French team, and that's it's such a freaking cliche at this point, but it's holding true more often than not. Unfortunately,
right?
Well,
they again. as I said earlier, they all they did was kick penalties. They got 9 points, and they kicked 2 penalties after, so they had to, they never were, I mean, I guess that was the closest they ever came to the lead, because at that point it was 6-7 after they kicked two penalties, and then whatchamacallit, Canuck rattled off 2 tries. The Porch tried, Wooten try.
Yep.
And then after that, Sanchez is kicking points again. What the fuck? Like, what do you think you're doing? And then it's just over at that point.
Yeah. The Wooten try on half was pretty cool. It was pretty good. I mean, this is a really kind of a strange place to play for a lot of teams that aren't in the URC. So, the sports ground in Galway might be a tough place for people to walk into. So we'll see what happens going forward. They got one more home game, and if they can steal points away from home, we might see yet another Irish team into this knockout round, which would be pretty crazy. So certainly speaks to the level that they're at, but also what are you done for the women?
Right.
As we've talked about before.
Right. Yeah. Right. You're doing all right. Your men are beating the All Blacks, and all 4 your teams are winning Champions Cup.
Yeah.
Although I guess we got to get to the next match to complete that news, but start paying your women. Start doing them fairly.
Get the fuck on it. Almost at that match. Ospreys and Sale.
Oh yeah.
If Ospreys were any fucking good, Sale would have lost this match, honestly. And I think Ospreys have plenty to add to a game, but they're just not that good right now. But man, Sale didn't play that well, honestly.
No, they didn't. It was not a dominant performance by any stretch.
No, I mean, away from home, again, it's never easy, but this was not a particularly tough opponent. So
unfortunately not, although they showed grit, but then they started to come back. Just, I'm disappointed that they couldn't even get a bonus point score of any kind with both Currys off the pitch at the end. After the 71st minute or so, when 68 when Ben Curry got the yellow, and then I guess that was right after the other Curry came off, I think.
Yeah, Tom had been pulled.
Right. So they have really nobody speedy in that pack, and you couldn't really do much with it. And that's just disappointing. I know that they're gassed at that point, Ospreys, but man, that was when Sale are the most vulnerable, man down, and it's a Curry, and they don't have any other Currys. You gotta take advantage there. And good team, as you said, they're not a good team, because good teams would take advantage of that. They would at least walked away with a bonus point.
Right. No, I kind of feel for them, but at the same time, like, they're just not a good team. So and they have some good stuff to add. Gareth Anscombe's there. Prothero looked great. They have Alex Cuthbert for whatever he's worth. So they do have some things there, but it's just it's not enough.
If we have a stories of 2021, which I suggest we do for our year-end wrap-up, is there a better story at hooker than Ewan Ashman? I mean, the dude just, like, he's we talk about Marcus Smith leading a charmed life. This fucking guy. That's all he's doing is racking up tries in different competitions for whichever team he's playing for.
Right.
As a hooker.
I know. Well, and the funny thing is, he was supposed to be on his way to Glasgow, I believe, one of the 2 Scottish teams, on a loan, and they canceled it because they realized, shit, we need hookers. So they canceled it, and he's back here. So it's like, oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah.
Whoops. But I mean, worked out in his favor, obviously. But shit, yeah, you're right. Like, not a bad life for the guy,
right?
Not at all. And then, I mean, we do have to bring up, like, fucking Sale with the tweet. Like, what the fuck? That's just, That's
So
that's
poor.
beyond shithousing. That's
Stop
just
being,
bad.
yeah, stop being poor, shit house off the field. They're like, yes, I get it. Your whole shtick on the field is to annoy the other team, but leave that on the field.
Mm-hmm. Shouldn't come from an official account of the front office. Like,
No, it shouldn't.
it can come from a fuck around account from a fan, but like,
Right.
yeah, be a little more professional than that.
Figure it out. Do what Razzie did. Get a burner. There you go.
Something like that. All right. Let's go over to France and another ugly one, but La Rochelle gets the job done against a spirited Glasgow team. Didn't really have a whole lot to offer for certain. They only had 2 back subs, and one of them was Duncan Weir. So they were just like, yeah, we need to do whatever we can with the forwards.
Right. And yeah, it wasn't enough.
No.
And I didn't see it, and I didn't even look for the replay, but the Redier injury
didn't happen to
looked pretty
see it.
Scary.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I have no fucking clue what happened to him.
I think he gave a thumbs up though.
Okay.
But still, terrifying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you know who's terrifying is Gregory Aldred.
Oh, and
also
Greg Aldred, yeah.
Also him.
Gregory Aldred is not as terrifying as Will Skelton, but god damn, I do not want to play against him.
He's a tough fucking dude. Like that
he
dude
is.
Oh yeah, like any back row that includes Gregory Aldred is already going to be a formidable one. And yeah, he got player of the match in this one, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, I'm sure he had to have, because he had like 150 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah, he
Where
was.
Are you?
He was a beast.
147. Holy shit! Yeah, on 19 carries with 13 tackles. If he was not player of the match,
somebody wasn't watching.
Right. I can't recall who was, but let me see if it's in the report. But yeah, no, Aldred was just fantastic.
Yeah, quite good. Yeah, I mean, this is the team that went to the final last year and was runner up. So, not quite the effects of the runners up syndrome, but
not
we'll
quite.
See.
Yeah, and but again, they just had some good performances. I mean, like we had that again, Redier injury. His backup, his replacement, Bully Rurua, scores the winning try. So that's championship teams do that, and that's
yes,
so doesn't hangover or no hangover, they're still it's in their bones at least,
right
to do those things,
right. And you have freaking Brice Dulin on the back end for them. That's never a bad thing.
No.
Yeah, this is a team that's got a lot of really good pieces that I like. So
and Dante is
they're 12 now. My goodness.
12, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Him and Bautillo was supposed to be in this game, I'm pretty sure, and he dropped. So yeah, there's a lot to really like about what's going on with that. Unfortunately, Glasgow didn't bring a whole lot of help with their backs. They went with the 6-2 split.
Really needed.
Only brought George Horn on. They didn't bring Weir on. So yeah,
that's weird.
It's tough.
But yeah, they need a little bit more in attack. So I would have thought a back sub would have, more back subs would have helped more.
Yeah, a couple more back subs that you would actually use would have been good.
Right.
But yeah, there we go. Well, they got Exeter coming up. Let's go over to the CBS. Wasps and Munster. Wasps 14, Munster 35. First of all, like we've shed on reps. There were some bad ones this weekend. Evans wasn't great, but that match wasn't affected by him. And there was nothing I could really point out that was super glaring and obvious in that. He was just poor all over. That's not a bit anything.
Right.
Plot is just like awful. It's beating a dead horse. It really is. Like everybody knows he sucks. Like people are very nice about it on Twitter. They don't actually shit on him that are like official, reporters and stuff, because they're not stupid enough to put that out there. But like everybody knows behind the scenes he sucks. Like it's not a new thing.
Right.
It really isn't. So when he gave that red card to Shields, I was like, well, that's on par for that fucker, because that's pretty much what he would do. Like
that's a yellow at most.
Most.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, he has a red card in his hand. Are you shitting me? Oh my God. Ugh.
Unfortunate.
Already hampered Wasp team didn't need
right. They didn't need that. And I really liked the Shields at 4 setup. I love that idea. If you can bring a a mobile flanker into lock, and he can actually hold his own there, fucking do it. Like having people more, spread the field is so much more valuable than, depending on the match, obviously. But I thought it was working really well up until the red card.
Until that.
Yeah.
And Alfie Barbary was working pretty well up until he had to be removed at half.
Yeah. I still think he's not quite fit.
Oh, he probably isn't.
Yeah. So I think that was always planned. I think he's on like kind of a pitch count. Like you get 40 minutes and that's it, no matter what.
No, he did. He made the most of them.
He did.
No question about that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the Munster team, because this was, a balance of seasoned like veterans that you would lean on 100 times out of 100, and nobody's.
Right. Like, I mean, Byrne and Peter O'Mahony and DDA were just like, you knew that if they were going to win this, those three were going to show up. Not just those three, but those three ended up dominating. Conway to a certain extent as well, but every time you looked up and something good was happening, usually there was that blue scrum cap around,
Tag Byrne,
or DDA, or this where did this Daniel? Is it OKK? I'm not sure.
OKK, yeah.
Okay, like
OKK, yeah, something like that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, not bad, kid.
Not bad. Is he Ireland eligible? I have
no idea.
I'm wondering. I just don't know. I don't know anything about him. So
yeah, I kind of like the Hodnet guy too. He did really good.
He did
a lot of good things.
And Buckley as your man of the match.
Yeah. So what a day for him. Talking about living a charmed life. God. Scores a try. His first team debut, like in Europe. No big deal.
And man of the match.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Welcome to the pros.
Yeah.
Like, good job.
Quite. Fucking poor Joey Carberry. Like, the guy didn't have fucking shit luck. You would have
any
nothing
luck at all.
Fucking
it's
hell.
Not fair.
No, and he's so great, and he brings so much to the game, and god damn it,
And this one, like, it's almost like I can't. It's not his fault. He just gets a fucking. Sometimes you just take a hit the wrong way. And sometimes that happens like 5 times in a row. Every time you get healthy.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just feel so bad for him. We had a potential Eagle sighting, just the same. Salanoa for the 18 for the backup prop for Munster was born in Hawaii.
So
gimme. Somebody get Gary on the phone.
Right, Gary, get take a look.
I got an answer for you, because as a person that's watched the U.S. scrum get dismantled a couple times, especially by the Uruguayans, we need help there.
Right.
So bringing in guys that aren't, aren't MLR guys completely, like, especially as a front row. Front row is so tough, and when you go up that next level, it can't be screwed around with.
No, it's you have to be ready for it. Like, you have to be. It's something else. Every step up is you're going to get schooled a little bit, but if you're just not ready for it, you're going to look really, really, really bad.
Yep.
And they're not ready for it right now. So they're not the MLR guys. So
no, and guys that are been playing even in an academy of a major European team like Munster are going to fare way better, I feel like.
Right. Because at least they've seen that kind of talent.
They've seen they've gone against a Kilcoyne or whatever, guys of that level. So it's like, okay, that's at least you've probably proven to the point that you can kind of handle it because you're in the team. So at least there's that.
Right. And I wasn't like overly impressed with his play, but he's like 19 or something.
Oh yeah, he's a kid. He's like when TT first busted on. So
right.
And Anu as well. Anu was like 20 when he got his first cap. Gimme.
Yes, please.
No.
Are we going over to the one final match?
The last one.
The last one.
Cast and Quins. I mean, not the typical Quins that we expect, but again, away from home, not always going to be pretty. So you take him as you got him, but
yeah, you show some grit, show some jam.
Still,
this is still big for Marcus Smith, right? He wasn't really the reason that they won or lost. I mean, but he wouldn't have been the reason that they lost, but he would have still gotten blamed for it because he's that guy. So it's important that he win that kind of game.
I agree.
Or that his team win that kind of game. And, yeah. So good for him. They've also kind of needed to turn it around. They've been struggling a little bit the last couple of weeks in the Prem. So, huge, gutty, jammy, nuts up kind of win.
Yeah, totally. And this wasn't Cardiff's best team by any means, but still, it's away from home. It's a night match. It's gonna be tough.
Cast.
Yeah,
you said Cardiff. I thought.
Did I say Cardiff? Yep, Cast. Sorry.
Okay, I was
similar colors and the same first
or
initial.
At least that's
My
what
fault.
I heard. Whatever.
Yeah, there's a chance I fucked it up. So what else is new? Yeah, Cast. Sorry.
That Nikosi guy, scary.
Yeah,
he's a little problematic. Don't want to tackle him. Don't like him when he runs really hard.
No. Nobody wants. I can guarantee you, nobody wants to. Nobody's interested in that one. But yeah, he's a freaking shit house. 98 kgs. Are we sure about that one?
Only if he's like 5'3", which I think he's a little bit taller than that.
Yeah, a little taller than that. So nope. Nope. But anyway, yeah, it's tough bugger. And gritty performance by Cast. They could have easily just mailed this one in, and they didn't. Had some salty veterans out there making life miserable for everybody. Rory Cockett being culprit number one. I guess he's done at the end of this year.
Okay. I thought Arjun, he had to come on early, but he was a right bastard out there too.
Good to see old Tyler out there.
Of course, love the Canadian.
The Chiefs miss him, I'm sure. He was kind of a cult hero down there.
For good reason. He's just a solid rugby player.
Yeah, he was quite good.
And he's Canadian, so I'm sure he's a great guy.
You Canadians are so fucking nice, eh? But I do want to talk about the Don Branch track because it was really well worked, and it's just getting the ball to that edge of the defense and getting a good line going. Like you were talking about with some of those hard running centers, like it was just exactly what they needed because so much of that ball in a lot of the offense really in this game, I think, was going too much left and right and not enough straight forward. And the first time fucking somebody decided to punch it, there you go.
Yeah.
I was just like, yay, there we go.
And that's kind of how you can use that as a setup, right? You can there are two ways to do it. You can use the width and then punch up the center because you kind of soften it up because they're like, oh, they're not running it wide. They're not going to run it up the center. They're going to run it wide. Oh, wait, shit. Now it's up the center. Sometimes that's just a little bit enough. And then it helps you have one cutback instead of a pass out wide, and you catch them just napping and drifting and try time.
Yep. So Quinn's get the job done. Right now the pools look like Pool A has Exeter on top, Racing, Leinster, Sale are in the top four. The following fours are La Rochelle, Ulster, Claremont, and Glasgow. Claremont and Glasgow actually only picked up a point apiece. So we talked about bonus points before. Yes, they can come in handy. Very much so. Pool B has Toulouse on top, Bristol via their forfeit win, Connacht, and Munster. Next four are Leicester, Quins, Cast, and Bordeaux. And again, Cast and Bordeaux also managed to pick up bonus points. So I'm not saying 3 points is going to get you over the line and into the knockout stage, but pick those things up because 5-6 points might do it.
Right.
I don't know.
Right, because like, are Wasps really going to be putting much effort into this? Probably not.
From here out, probably not.
Scarlets, who knows who knows what's going to happen with them? I honestly don't. And then Cardiff and Stade. Yeah, I don't know who they're playing next. Hold on, I have that.
Cardiff have Quins.
Ugh, good luck. And Stade have Bristol. So
but they're at home at least.
That could be, that could go any fucking way. So
right. Well, thank you, Europe.
Europe
was as good for you as it was for me. I hope so.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad round. It was frustrating. There were too many matches overall, too many matches where I was looking forward to the next match.
Yeah.
Like about 20 minutes to go. I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this to be done. Let's go to the next one started.
Yeah. That's you got a lot of matches. Sometimes that happens.
True. You know? Sometimes it's just like, there's promise of better rugby to be played. Like, this is just, I see where this is going.
Yeah. And there was definitely some days where you're like, this one can just go by. I was switching myself between the small screen and the big screen. Some of them like, actually this one's better. Switch.
Right. Yep.
Oops, made the cardinal mistake. Oh well. All right. So if you're hanging out, yes, we're going to do a fantasy corner because we're going to talk a little bit about Super Brew and all that stuff. So if you're
Jared wants to talk about how awesome his team is.
Listen, that has never been my style, so I wouldn't bank on that.
We wouldn't have a fantasy corner this week if Jared wasn't 8 overall.
Listen here, come over there and bop your bald head.
All right.
So if you're hanging around for that, that'll be up later.
Yeah.
But if you're not, we'll catch you next week. Enjoy Europe. Fantasy Rugby Podcast at gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, we appreciate you all for hanging out, listening to us babble. Catch you guys next week. If you're not coming to the corner, have a good one.
Later.
Cheers.